Hi YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about one of my hot buttons. And what it's going to be is I'm going to be talking about counterfeit items and why people shouldn't buy them. So what I have right here in front of you is I have an authentic Surefire X300 Ultra weapon light, and I have a counterfeit one. And I'm going to show you some of the differences, and we're going to talk about why people buy these things, what reasons you would have to buy anything counterfeit or anything. And I'm going to show you, if you unknowingly are looking for a Surefire light, a couple of little bulletin points, what to look for to make sure you don't unknowingly buy a Surefire light that's counterfeit. So what we have here is, this is in the bottom one here. This is a counterfeit Surefire light. It's the X300 Ultra. It's the Model A right here. And the Model A is the one with the quick release tabs on the side where you just pull down on it. It goes on and off the weapon. The top one, this is 100% authentic Surefire light. This is the Model B. The difference in the Model B is this one's got a little thumb screw on the side, and that's how you install it on the light. This is the one I prefer, but this is all personal preference. I prefer the one with the thumb screw on the side because it seems to fit tighter. You can tighten it down better, and it never comes off. But let's go over some of the differences. When you look at this counterfeit at first, it's very close looking to the authentic one. I mean, it's really hard to tell the difference if you don't have them side by side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to point out a couple of differences to you. First of all, when you pick them up side by side, that's how close they look. I mean, they are pretty close. It's really hard to spot the differences when you look at them. But this one just doesn't feel right. It feels a little bit lighter on the back. On the back, I haven't decided yet whether that's metal or not. It feels sort of like plastic. The battery cover here, it works exactly the same way it operates. You push on these tabs and it's momentary, and then these paddles, you can turn it either way for either side, and that works the light. The authentic one's the same thing. Push on it and it comes on, and the paddles rotate either way. Now this authentic one, it's just so positive the way it clicks. It just feels like it's made right and everything. This one just feels a little shady to me, the way it turns on. One of the other things I noticed immediately was, if you look underneath there's nothing written on this, and on the authentic one it actually says 1,000 lumens on it. I know they make a bunch of different kinds of these counterfeit ones, but this one doesn't say 1,000 lumens on the counterfeit. On the top, they both have like a little barcode. Now you can't go buy these mounts because these are two different kind of mounts. But on the top, they have a barcode on them. And I don't know if people know what to look for when they look at this stuff, but the font just looks like it's cheap painted on the cheap one, and it's very sharp looking and everything on the authentic one. Same goes with the side, the Surefire printing on the side of it. It just doesn't look right. Now, if you look at them side by side, you can tell a difference. If you saw them out by themselves, you might get fooled if you've never dealt with one before. One of the other differences I noticed is on the counterfeit one, it's got these little lines on the back of it, and the authentic one doesn't. It looks completely different. The battery cover, this is 100% metal. I'm pretty certain the cover on this one's plastic. Now the housing of this light on both of them do feel like they're aluminum. They feel very similar. If you look at the actual light down in here, there's a difference there too. The one on the left is the counterfeit one. The one on the right is the authentic one. There is a big difference in brightness. I'm not going to be able to demonstrate that here on camera, but you can definitely tell the difference in the brightness. So if you make it past all of that, here's another thing you can look for. If you look at the battery door release button on the bottom, it's got these little batwing protectors. I call them batwing protectors. So what that's for is whenever the button does not protrude past these little bat wings. So this is mounted on the weapon, and you were to bump this, you hit these little protectors before you hit the button. It keeps the door from accidentally deploying and causing your weapon light not to work, like in a time of distress or moving around. The counterfeit one has the same bat wings, but the button sticks out the bottom, so it really does no good. If you can see the difference in the two, I'll hold them side by side here. The one on the right's the authentic one. You can't see the button protruding bad. The other one, it sticks right out. Now, if all that, if you make it past all that and don't notice anything, one of the true telltale signs of this is, I'm going to show you how to absolutely tell. When you open this battery door on the back, if you look on the inside of a true Surefire one, actually printed on the circuit board, not the sticker or anything. Don't look at the sticker. Look at the green circuit board. It'll actually say Surefire on that. Actually printed on the circuit board. And if you look at the counterfeit one, it does not. Let me get this over here and get this open. It doesn't say anything. So there's the differences. And the two, they take the same kind of batteries and everything. This one, the counterfeit one, just opens and closes like a lot looser. It just feels like it could fall open at any time. It actually feels like it is going to fall open. I do not know whether this thing is water resistant, but I'm guessing by the quality of its make, it's not. This one here can be submerged in water and work fine. But and this one just goes back together so much tighter. You can just tell it just seals up right. Anytime you look at anything counterfeit, you start looking for the build quality. You can just tell when you hold authentic stuff that costs a lot of money, and these things are not cheap. You can just tell the way things work. You start feeling anything loose or anything on them, there's probably a problem. And this thing here just feels cheaply made, and everything's loose and everything. The reason people buy these things is what bothers me. They'll buy some crap like this and they'll stick it on their Glock and pose on Instagram with it so they look cool, so they can tell people that they bought a really expensive weapon light for their Glock. Like anybody cares. Nobody cares what you have. If you want a weapon light for your gun and you don't want to spend the money to buy a Surefire, do not buy this. Go buy a less expensive. There's a lot of reputable brands out there that don't cost what a Surefire costs, and they'll work very well. There's good lights out there at a lot more reasonable price than a Surefire. You don't have to impress anybody by buying junk like this. I mean, it is absolute junk too. If you felt them, look at the coating difference here. If you look at the texture up front, this thing looks like it's spray painted. And look at how much better the coating is on the authentic one. Let's see if we can see the other side. Flip them over, same thing. The top one's the counterfeit, the bottom one's not. See, the coating's just better. These switches sit here and wiggle around a little bit. The authentic one, they're tight. So just a couple things you got to look for. It's a shame that things are counterfeited, and people have to resort to looking at videos like this to figure things out. But that's the world we live in, folks. People will buy counterfeit things, and people will make counterfeit things to make $1 off of the unsuspecting. So you have people like me that'll make videos to protect people. I didn't even realize it was that big a market, but yeah, they counterfeit these. If you're into firearms, they counterfeit all the optics and everything like that. It's just unreal. Same as like Rolex watches. That's the most counterfeited item in the world. And one day maybe I'll do a video if I can get my hands on a counterfeit Rolex. I'll show you a couple things to look for with that, compared them side by side. That's gonna be a little bit harder to obtain than this light was. But anyway, folks, if you have any questions on anything, one of the other big differences is this counterfeit light it came in like this plastic. It looked like sort of a knockoff Pelican case, like a Trigon ACOG or something comes in. Not as well made, but it came in that. This just came in a regular Surefire packaging, just cheap packaging. So if it comes in some kind of case, it's probably a counterfeit. If you have any questions, anything I missed or anything, if you're looking at them, I mean, I would recommend if you're buying a Surefire light, don't buy it online, because I've seen a lot of people on Amazon that got burned and made bad reviews. People are representing them to be authentic. This light, this counterfeit light, it's like $20. That's what it is, and you can't buy a Surefire light for $20. So yeah, they're misrepresenting them. If you have any questions and you want me to answer anything, what to look for, I'm pretty sharp at looking at these things. I can pretty much spot a fake one for you, or steer you in the right direction. Feel free to ask. And anyway, folks, thank you very much for watching my video, and you folks have a great day.